Region Council. With this, I request Dr. Vivedi to please take over the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have a big round of applause for Dr. A.P.D. Vivedi. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
नमस्कार। आईआईपी के 59वें स्थापना दिवस पे मैं भारतीय मानक ब्यूरो की तरफ से आईआईपी को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। Just I will give you a brief introduction about the Bureau of Indian Standards and how the collaboration between the BIS and the MSME can provide the opportunities for the MSME to contribute in the standardization, laboratory activities, and the conformity assessment sectors. Just a brief introduction about the BIS. Established in 1947, our certification scheme started in 1955-56. 1986, we became Bureau of Indian Standards. 2016, with more powers, we became the national standards body of the India. In 2025, we have reached a stage where we have a network of 5 regional offices, 38 branch offices, 9 laboratories, over 23,000 standards formulated so far, more than 50,000 licenses, and 350 plus recognized labs and 80 plus empaneled labs. Not only at the national level, we are also the founder member of the ISO and the IEC, and we are the member of both the organizations which are involved in the standard formulation level at the international level. The core activities, as you all may be knowing, the standard formulation, the conformity assessment scheme, a different scheme, different type of schemes we are operating, such as product certification, management system, hallmarking, compulsory registration, and we have laboratory services, consumer affairs, standard promotion, and the training services. Coming to the standard formulation, the structure, that the apex is the standard advisory committee, and below that the divisional council, sectional committee, subcommittee, and the panels. Depending upon the different core areas or the specializations, the standardization activity has been divided into 17 parts, which are managed by the 17 divisional councils. And the latest in this series, we have an Environment and Ecology Divisional Council, EED, which has been recently established. Standard formulation is a job where the stakeholder involvement is important. The standard is formulated at the BIS through the consensus and involvement of all the stakeholders, such as individual experts, industries, regulators, labs, R&D organizations, consumers, professional bodies, and other standards development organizations. The procedure which the BIS follows is almost similar to the standard formulation procedure at the international level. New work item, it is mostly proposed by the industries or the ministries, and based on this, a working draft is prepared, which goes for the circulation to the committee members. Upon comments, the preliminary draft is prepared, which is again circulated to the committee members. And after receipt of the comments, a wide circulation draft is prepared, and which is available for the comment by the general public and all the stakeholders. And based on the comments received on the wide circulation draft, a final draft is prepared, which is approved by the divisional council, and same is adopted at the national standards. As far as the role of the BIS is concerned at the international level, the ISO TC 122, which is engaged in the the standard formulation activity of the packaging, and it has two subcommittees, SC3 and SC4, and BIS is a participating member of all the this committee and both the subcommittees, and fortunately me from the Transport Engineering Department. The Transport Engineering Department Sectional Committee 24 is the National Mirror Committee of this ISO TC 122. The ISO TD 24, the Transport Engineering Department Sectional Committee 24, the mainly deals with the packaging of the transport packages. Other departments which also formulates in the standard formulation related to the packaging is the chemical department, paper-based packaging, petroleum and coal department, plastic packaging, textile materials, CED, timber and timber stores, and PGD, production and general engineering department, metal containers, sectional committee through the different sectional committees. So all type of containers, primarily the transport related containers are formulated by TED, and other containers for the different sectional committee under different divisional councils. I will give you a brief information of the major standards formulated so far. The packaging vocabulary, there are three standards, main standards, 16961, part 1, part 2, 9111. Coming to the package dimension, IS 6865, IS 8470. We have a series of the standards for the testing of the packaging, IS 13191, 15526, 15763, 15771, and 7028 series, almost 12 parts are there in this. You can just see it. So, coming to the pallets, which is the most active committee, and we have been actively involved or engaged in recently in development of these standards. 71 is again a vocabulary. 17427 wooden pallets, 13664 poly pallets, 16058 Dunnage pallets, and 6219 the method of test, and IS 12776 the slip seats. What is the way ahead? That was a brief overview. Even in the Transport Engineering Department, we have more than 70 standards formulated related to the packaging. But there is still some work is going on, both in the new areas and also in the revision or the review of the standards. Presently, we are mainly working on the through three working groups, working group 2, working group 3, 4, and we are in the process of formulating standards in the field of pallets made from the corrugated fiber board, intermediate bulk containers, and the galvanized steel modular pallets. This is the new work or the new standard formulation we have taken up. And in addition to this, there are still, as per our policy, every 5 years the standards are reviewed. So this review process in the ongoing, and yes, and we have a panel 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is working on the different standards for the review or the revision. Now coming to the core activity of the BIS, the certification scheme, which started in the 1955-56. Still, as far as the certification is concerned in the field of the packaging, it has not reached a very satisfactory stage. Just for reference, I have just noted down the sub licenses. Just for example, IS 17427, we have only 6 licenses so far, and for 13664 only 1 license. But still, the process is on, and many applications are in pipeline. Now coming to the laboratory activities, Just my collaboration or the introduction with the IIP started personally with Dr. Tanveer when I was in the laboratory of the BIS, but primarily in the field of the testing of the packaging material, we are depending upon the IIP and of course the CPET. Just you can have an overview of the different laboratories which are involved in the testing of different type of packaging materials. IS 16187, BIS lab is also there, but mostly we are on the IIP only depending. 16709, CPET labs are there, mostly CPET labs. 14887, again the CPET labs. Mostly the plastic materials are being dealt by the CPET only. Now coming to the main theme of this event, opportunities for the MSME in packaging sector. How a collaboration with BIS can provide the opportunity to the MSME sectors. The strategic growth avenues, it can help to improve the quality of the product through various collaboration, through the standard formulation, the certification or the laboratory activity. They can improve their quality and contribute to the Make in India and the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative through these approaches. The different activity through which MSME can engage with the BIS is standard formulation, laboratory, and the certification activity. Now coming to the standard formulation, as I earlier said that the standard formulation is the collaborative effect and the different stakeholders are involved. For formulation of the standard, luckily in the transport engineering department, we have majority of the small scale or the medium scale industries in the packaging sector. But the option is always open for all the MSMEs to join the technical committees and to contribute in the formulation of the new standards or the review or the revision of the existing standards. At least by the participation of the MSMEs, BIS standard can ensure that the regional packaging methods and the MSME capabilities are also addressed in the standards. The laboratory scheme, if any of the MSME industry which is having a testing facility can opt for the laboratory recognition scheme under the BIS. By this, they will be able to carry out the third-party conformity to the samples drawn by the Bureau of Indian Standards. Coming to the conformity assessment, they can apply for the BIS license. As already seen, we have seen that the very few licenses, the opportunities, a huge opportunity is available in this field. The process is very simple and the advantage to the MSME is that the certification fee or the recognition fee, there is a lot of rebate in the fees. For example, if I consider for the certification thing, for the medium scale industry, the rebate is of 20%. For small scale, the rebate in the annual license fee is 50%, and for the micro is 80%. And if a woman entrepreneur is there, additional 10% discount is there. And there is also an opportunity for establishing a cluster-based laboratory. In fact, for the certification scheme, the in-house laboratory is required, but considering the expenditure required in the establishing a laboratory, there are multiple options to have a agreement with any of the BIS labs, or 3 or 4 MSMEs can jointly establish a cluster-based laboratory, or the third option is also available. If already a large-scale unit is having the testing facility, they can use it as a cluster testing facility. So this I thank you all and request to become a part of the standard formulation mission. Working in the standard formulation, just I want to reiterate that we need a lot of expert, especially in the field of packaging. With me, the member secretary, Mr. Gaurav Jaiswal. He is the member secretary of TED 24. He is also present, and he will just confirm my views also, that not only at the national level, but also since BIS is a participating member of at the ISO TC 122, we need a lot of expert to present our view in the standard formulation level at the international level, so that we can, when the international standards are formulated, the Indian perspective also taken, and we can easily adopt those standards. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Dwivedi, for your excellent talk on the global standards and export packaging opportunities for MSME. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my extreme pleasure to have been asked to chair this session. We have a brilliant, panelist with wide-ranging expertise over here. The subject of the panel is global standards and export packaging opportunities for MSMEs. Being in this packaging industry for 40 years, I have seen packaging evolve both in terms of the product innovation and the technology. Today, we are exporting both the packaged commodities and the packaging materials all around the globe. But the challenges remain when we compare our industry with much more evolved industry in the West. The focus of this panel is to understand from different stakeholders the steps that we need to take to make our industry truly global. With this, I would like to introduce my esteemed panelists over here today. So we have with us Mr. Bantwal. He's the chairman and MD of Suprabha Protective Private Limited. He is chairman and managing director, and as an industry veteran in corrosion protection and industrial packaging, he is a pioneer in developing export-grade sustainable packaging. His company has received multiple awards for innovation in eco-packaging. Additionally, he is the vice chairman of IIP board and is a member of the board. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him. The second panelist we have is Mr. Ketan Bhatia. He is vice president consumer products Tata 1mg. Currently, he serves as vice president of consumer products at Tata 1mg. Mr. Bhatia is an experienced marketing professional with a proven track record in driving category and brand growth. With over 15 years of experience across a wide range of categories, he has worked with both large-scale brands like Harpic, Setvet, and Vanish. His expertise lies in building consumer and market insights, identifying key growth opportunities, developing compelling product and communication propositions, and managing efficient spending to achieve business objectives. Please welcome him, ladies and gentlemen. Then we have Mr. Sanjay Kumar Yadav. He is the head QA, R&D, and New Product Development, Century Pulp and Paper, Aditya Birla Real Estate Company. With 24 years of rich experience across operations, strategy, quality, and product development at leading pulp and paper companies like Built, Trident, and Century, Shri Yadav is a seasoned industry expert. An MTech graduate in pulp and paper technology from IIT Roorkee, he has led innovation across a wide spectrum of paper products, including copier, craft, tissue, packaging boards, and specialty papers. His leadership focuses on sustainable alternates to plastics, export-grade packaging, cost optimization, and consumer-driven product development. He brings deep technical knowledge and operational excellence to drive the future-ready packaging solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Yadav. Our fourth panelist is Srimati Reba Abraham. She is a Deputy GM at Epida. Reba Abraham is a Deputy GM, Fresh Fruits and Vegetable and Quality, bringing extensive expertise in quality assurance and post-harvest management in agri and food sector. With a strong focus on supply chain integrity and safety standards, she has been instrumental in driving initiatives that enhance product quality from farm to fork. Her leadership in FFV operation is pivotal in ensuring compliance with both domestic and export quality benchmarks. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for her, please? Our last panelist is Ms. Anita Rani. She's a director with NABL, which is operating under the Quality Council of India. In her role, she oversees the accreditation processes for proficiency testing providers and reference material producers, ensuring adherence to international standards. Her responsibilities also encompass quality assurance and the accreditation of medical laboratories aligning with ISO 15189 standards. With extensive experience in laboratory accreditation and quality management systems, Ms. Rani has significantly contributed to enhancing the credibility and reliability of testing and calibration laboratories across India. She actively participates in national and international forums, sharing her expertise on proficiency testing programs and the importance of compliance with global standards. Can we once again have a round of applause for all our panelists, please? So friends, I will start asking, I have a couple of questions from each panelist, and I will ask one by one, one question from each panelist with a.
So thank you very much for introducing all our esteemed panelists. Before we move further, we would like to thank Dr. Dwivedi for joining us. He will be leaving in between the session as he has to attend to some prior unavoidable commitment. I would request our esteemed session chair to present a memento to Dr. APD Dwivedi. Sir, please take the center stage. And let's all thank him for his time and his insights. So we sincerely thank you for your time and your expertise, for sharing your expertise with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much.
So I am taking a liberty of asking a question from Dr. Dwivedi before he really leaves. So Dr. Dwivedi, my question is very simple, and I just framed it, when you were here, that what is the kind of training and support BIS gives to the MSME to understand and adapt to the global packaging standards?
Actually, it depends upon which activity they want to get associated. If the standard formulation, we have a training sessions. And as far as the testing or the understanding of the product is concerned, through our 38 branch offices, we are regularly conducting a training session or rather Manak Manthan, Manak Mantrana, different type of awareness programs, which is specifically designed for the technical sessions or to address the technical queries, to make them aware of the testing protocols, the requirement of the standards, and all the training sessions are free of cost and which is organized by the BIS from time to time. If any specific request is there, we are always ready to organize such program.
Thank you, sir. I'm a little greedy. I will ask you one more quick question.
Yeah.
So what is the difference you see between the ISO and BIS standards? How do you compare the two, and how do we bridge the gap between the two?
Actually, if we have to compete at the global level, we have to follow the international standards as far as possible. But at the same time, we have to address the capabilities of the MSME or the local requirements. So wherever required or it becomes necessary, we make a certain modification or the adjustment in the international standards to adopt our the local needs. That's why we are now giving a more emphasis to the participation in the standard formulation level at the international level. So that once the international standards are formulated, the views of the India or the requirements of the Indian industry or the consumers is addressed in the international standard. So it is easy for us to adopt it and not to simply take it as a technically equivalent standards.
Thank you very much, sir.
I am taking one more liberty. That is why my one humble request, which I am repeating, please do participate in the standard formulation activity of the Bureau of Indian Standard. It is not the activity of the Bureau of Indian Standard. It is the standard formulated for the nation, for the people, for the industry, for the government. So it is your standard. Unless you participate actively in it, it will not be useful for the industry, for the people, or the government.
Thank you very much, sir, and thanks for giving us these 5 extra minutes. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for him as he leaves? Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure. So friends, with this, I will begin our, questions to the panelists. I've been told that we are running a little late. I'll request our panelists to keep their answers crisp and short, maybe 3 to 4 minutes max. So that's a request I've, received. So, Mr. Bantwal, you've been our vice chairman, and I must give you the first question. And you are an industry veteran. So my question to you is, what are the major challenges being faced by MSME to meet the global packaging standards and customer expectations?
Hello. Good afternoon. I think we are here after the lunch. So I thought I'll use this mic to, say that we are discussing now something.
That is why I wanted you to talk first.
MSME is a big catchword with ministers, politicians, and even seminars like this. But the challenges they are facing, even in Indian market, but much beyond that, much more challenges they are facing in export market is something, which government has to look into this. Because everyone says that it's the backbone of export industry, it is the, one of the main industries which earns, sectors which earns the foreign exchange to the country. MSME actually is not that well organized sector, like, the big companies, etc. These are all small technologists, engineers, or some people who have some thought process of being entrepreneurs. They are not expert entrepreneurs also. If someone is an engineer, he is not a finance, he has a problem in finance. If he is a finance, he has a problem with the technology. And getting competent people to handle this important job of exports. So manpower is one of the main resources which is scarce, because all the good manpower goes to the big companies, and when it comes down to medium and small scale people, hardly you can get anyone. We were just discussing today with our chairman of education. All the industries having a big shortage of manpower all over India. So how can we meet the commitment of exports? The first point which I would like to tell you is that when the order comes from the vendor, even for me also, we are involved in corrosion prevention, seaworthy packaging. They will quote that it should be REACH compliance, ROHS is required, and DIN standard, ASTM standard. But hardly small scale industry many times are not conforming to BIS standard also. Because there are very few BIS standards which are applicable for the packaging products which we are making. So this is a big challenge. They do not have the knowledge of all these international standards and how they can meet the expectations and align with the international standard. This is the first problem they have. The second one is the high cost of the certification. Those who are in the jumbo bag, though we get a certificate from IIP at a reasonable cost. If I have to get it from Germany or from UK, I have to shell out a huge amount of money. Or for that matter, if you want to get this biodegradability or compostable certificate, it's in lakhs of dollars, not something like that. Even in India, it is around 8 to 9 lakhs from CIPET. So this is a big challenge for us. So I was very happy to hear in the morning, rather I am a part of it also, that we are coming out with the world-class lab, IIP. We have got 106 crores sanction. I'm sure that when this lab is ready, IIP will help these MSMEs to get this certification at a reasonable cost so that, they can compete, they can comply with the requirements of the MSMEs, rather international market. Also high cost of testing. This is another thing which I mentioned. And technological obsolescence. All the plant and machinery which they are having, supposing I am 10 years or 20 years, I am running the business, they are obsolete at this juncture to take care of the present packaging requirement. Say if you want to make a different type of packaging product, your plants are not, they do not have the ability to go ahead with that. And the requirement of sustainability, which we have discussed in a quite a lot, so I don't want to expand, but that is another problem for, because we do not have that kind of networking for the MSMEs. And customization and the speed of expectation. Most of the foreign client want, customization, their brand name, the printing, exactly the digital printing they require. And it is very difficult to, comply with all these things. So I think these are some of the problems which the MSMEs face in the export.
I think absolutely, I fully endorse what you said, that it's the, the manpower, the technology, the adapting to the international standards, but you're a rich man, you forgot to talk about the capital availability to MSME. So I think capital is also one of the major factors for MSME. Right, sir? So thank you very much. That's why I said you're a rich man, you don't need to talk of capital. So anyway, thank you. So my next question is to Sanjay ji. Sanjay ji, as a large corporation, I'm sure you invest a lot in R&D. We'd like to know that what are the key drivers of product innovation at Century?
Yeah, thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you to IIP and specifically to Dr. Tanveer Alam for inviting how paper is being used as a substrate for the packaging industry. And as you all know, that paper is one of the environment-friendly raw material because it is made from renewable and sustainable resources, and thus it is compostable and recyclable also. As in, the paper is made out of the basically three main raw materials. One is the wood, another one is non-wood, and third one is the waste paper. So if you look at the paper industry as a whole, 71% paper industry is based on the recyclable raw material. So we are using a lot of waste paper for making the paper, and that paper is used in the packaging grade. And the most importantly, there is the kraft paper mostly. You can say the mostly kraft paper is being used for making the corrugation box, and that is going to for the packaging material. So paper industry is contributing a lot for the packaging industry. Now come to the wood part, right? The 21% industry are based on the wood-based raw material, and 8% is based on the agro-based raw material. Sorry, I am taking the little time just to set the basics. So the 21% industries are based on the wood raw material, and that wood is coming from the agro-farm forestry, right? So paper industry are working with the farmers to plant a tree on their land, right? So it not only gives the green cover in that particular area, but it also giving the livelihood to the farmers also, right? So the paper, you can say, is giving the green cover in that particular area. So so you can say the paper industry is working for the carbon sequestration, right? Why? Because you know that the plants absorb the CO2 from the atmosphere. So it is quite environmental friendly raw material. So paper is considered as a renewable and the environment friendly raw material. Now so far as the contribution from packaging point of view, that the paper is a cellulosic raw material, and cellulose is a hygroscopic in nature. It easily absorbs the moisture from the surrounding atmosphere, right? And from the if you look at the packaging, so we know the functional basic property, that is the barrier properties, right? So to get that, we closely work with the leading R&D institutions, right? Because the chemicals has to be applied to give that barrier properties, whether it is moisture barrier or the oxygen barrier or the water resistance and the aroma resistance, right? So we have worked a lot with the leading R&D institutions, and we have developed the carry bag paper, because in that carry bag paper, the water resistance play a very important role along with this mechanical property, that is the burst factor. Right, when it comes to come into the food grade packaging, in that case we have used the bioplastic, and that bioplastic is biodegradable, and the recyclable nature is also. So the paper industry is contributing a lot in the developing the packaging grade of paper. Recently we developed the OZR, the oil and grease resistance paper that is used for the food wrapping. And from the rigid packing point of view, the mostly FBB, the folding box board, SPB, the solid bleach sulfate board, and the SPS, the solid bleach sulfate board, that is going for the pharma sectors. Now another major challenge in front of paper industry, that how paper industry can contribute in replacing the plastic material, right, for most importantly in the flexible grade paper. So we are working with the leading brand owner and the leading R&D institution, how that paper can be used as one of the important substrate to substitute a plastic raw material. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anita ji, my next question is to you. My question is that how is NABL enabling the packaging industry to meet the global standards?
Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. So when all of you are aware about the NABL, so to answer this question, I don't have to put much effort, because you know about NABL. NABL is a national accreditation body which is having a mandate to do a third-party assessments. And we are doing this assessment by following an international standards, which are all made by the ISO and ISE, international standard. And we are doing this assessment to ensure the consistent operation of the laboratory competently and impartially. So, and we are also having an international linkages with ILAC, APEC, MRA signatory status we are maintaining, so that the labs are performing in India, when they are exporting their material, they don't have to get that test again done in other exporting countries, because that countries, through this MRA signatory status, they have the mandate, they have the they have to accept the report of all the labs which are having an ILAC, APEC, MRA signatory status. Now coming back to the regulatory compliance requirement, you know that there are many regulatory requirements that are applicable on the packaging industries, that is starting from FSSAI regulations, which are for ensuring the safety of the food grade packaging. Then UN certification requirements are there for packaging used with dangerous good while exporting to overseas. Then there are BIS requirement is also there for maintaining the quality and safety of packaging material. Similarly, there are CPSC requirement for toy packaging, ISPM 15 compliance for wood packaging material, as what Sir has also explained in his presentation when the lead speaker explained. And then there are legal metrology requirement, which is having the rules 2011, which require mandatory declaration on the retail packages. So what is the role of NABL is, when NABL do the third party assessment, we ensure that all this regulatory requirement has been fulfilled by the laboratory. They are complying with that, because whatever internationals are there, because for packaging industry, the standard that is applicable is ISO IC 17025 standard. So standard itself says that the laboratory has to comply with the regulatory requirement. So we're ensuring that all the regulatory requirement has been complied by the testing laboratory. So this is how we are.
Thank you very much. So my next question is to Ketul. Ketul is from Tata 1mg, you know, the new age e-commerce company for the pharmacy. Ketul, you know, as a packaging user, what challenges are faced by you in packaging development, procurement, and selection of the right vendor?
Thank you, and good afternoon to all the delegates and my fellow panelists. I think before I dive into the challenges, I just want to take a moment to say that actually and I really wish it were easier to do that identification. The other problem is that, you know, as someone who's trying to create a consumer product, I don't start with a solution in mind in terms of the kind of substrate I want. A product can fit into many different kinds of substrates. It could be paper, it could be laminates, it could be rigids, it could be metal even. And therefore, I'm not really starting from saying, hey, this is what I want. I'm looking for a solution that helps me give the best possible structured. And therefore, that becomes a challenge. Another challenge that kind of comes through, especially when it comes to procurement, is that many times there's a huge gap between what you see on prototype and what actually comes out in reality. And unless you, again, you know, either, and perhaps the most innovative consumer, you can get caught out by surprise, you know, when things like that happen. And therefore, you know, that's something for us to perhaps jointly think about on how do we get prototypes closer to reality. Lastly, oftentimes a lot gets lost in translation. If I look at any reasonably sized consumer goods organization, typically any packaging development work, even within the organization, will be a sort of a joint effort between the marketing team, typically the packaging team housed under R&D, and the procurement team as well. And many times the coordination with, you know, your vendor partners is happening both at R&D level as well as you know, at a procurement level. And therefore a lot gets lost in translation over there. And I think really if solutions were to exist that helped solve for some of that, a lot of time and a lot of money could get saved, you know, in the development process that we have.
Thank you. I think I have a lot of my friends here who have headed packaging development for major companies. I think they would echo his sentiments. What I think Vijay Bhai you saw 30 years back is still facing the same problem. Anyway, thank you. Ribaji, my next question is to you. How can Indian agri-food exporters enhance packaging to meet international standards and ensure product integrity during long-distance transport?
Thank you, moderator, and my esteemed panelist. Very good afternoon to all of you, and let me express my sincere gratitude to IIP for inviting APIDA also in this program. When it comes to the agriculture products, mainly when we export it, it depends on that the importing country's requirements we have to meet. So, and this is more common when it comes to the fresh agriculture products export. Especially, I would say the horticulture products, wherein the importing countries, they do have their own specific requirements for the quarantine measures. So when it comes to the horticulture products, because maybe how we are going to mitigate those measures, so they may be specifying some kind of requirements or maybe some kind of specific packaging to see that, yes, such kind of conflicts or maybe any kind of control measures which are taken at this side are not spread to the importing country, and that is not creating any kind of hazard to their local crops as well. So this is one thing when it comes to the horticulture products. Plus we would see which is applicable to both horticulture and the processed food category. Mainly the packaging requirements which are outlined by the importing countries. Sometimes they can create some kind of contamination to the product as well. So if the specific packaging material or maybe the technology is not applied, any kind of levels which have been set by the importing country, they may exceed to that. So this can lead to any kind of non-compliance or maybe sometimes rejections by the importing countries for which our exporters would be really in trouble because it may not be knowingly. Many a times this happens unknowingly or maybe unintentionally, we would say. So indirectly, any kind of quality requirements which are being set by the importing countries, we need to see that that has been followed. So we are trying to see how we can help our exporters, especially when it comes to the export to distant markets. Because there lies a major problem during the handling and during the transit, especially when the voyage period is 30 plus days or maybe 50 plus when it goes to the US or some other countries. So there we need to see a kind of specific procedure or a set guideline is developed so that this can be uniformly adopted by our exporters and this can also meet the importing countries' requirements. So in this regard, I would like to mention that we have developed certain C protocols, especially for the fruits which are of major demand in the international market. Indian mango is quite famous and it is of much demand in countries including US, Korea, Japan, all these countries. And similarly, the Indian grapes and bananas and pomegranates. So we have developed C protocol for pomegranate and using this, adopting this C protocol technology, we were able to ship consignment of pomegranate to US last year and crossing 52 days of voyage period and successfully it has reached, and based on this the other consignments to countries like Australia and also we have done. Similar activity we have taken up for bananas, making a shipment to the Netherlands in Europe and followed by which 2-3 consignments to the Russia also. So these are certain things we are trying to see. One thing is that how we can help our exporters, and secondly the levels or maybe the importing requirements of those countries are also being met. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bantwalji, I will come back to you now. So my question to you is, what are the expectations of MSME from Indian regulators to enhance the export of packaging from India?
Hello, yeah. Thank you, Subhaji. I think, one table there is discussing what questions to ask loudly. So you should give a chance to them so that, they really participate in this discussion. Yeah,
Can I request everybody to stop the side talks, please? I think that is what Mr. Bantwal was trying to say. Please go ahead, sir.
yeah. Expectation from the MSME is actually justified in the sense they face a lot of hardships with regard to the regulatory things, and main hardship is with regard to the incentives which have been given by the government while claiming that. It's a big circus actually. You don't get it for months together, whatever incentives have been given. Secondly, you can see that packaging credit which was given by the banks for exports is now withdrawn without any, they want to encourage MSME, they say. It was at least 1%, 1.5% advantage, say people like my company or our Apple or company were getting, that is gone. Suddenly they are withdrawn. So there is no coordination between the government, what policy they give, they declare, and implementation of the same. This is something which is required by the regulatory bodies as well as by the government department. And compliance framework should be simplified. There has to be one enabling platform, common platform, who will take care of all the approvals. Now we have to go to 3, 4 or sometimes around 8 agencies before we export if the certification is required. This is something I feel that maybe, IIP is really doing a wonderful job of skill development, giving us the packaging engineers or the postgraduate courses. IIP will be able to coordinate this because they have testing lab, they have the education system with them, they also have accessibility now because they are coming up with their branches everywhere. So when such facilities are made available, I think MSME is export will increase considerably, that hardships. And then ease of doing business. If GST refund for the exporters is a big headache. No one knows what is there. Even if there is a dispute also, then they say you go to the tribunal. I think GST is there for 4 years or so. No tribunal is appointed by the government till today. So these are the things, which are coming in the way of, I don't know whether any government body is there, but I think we are taking out a white paper, I was told, at the end of this thing. And this point should be noted very important, because there has to be some relaxation, procedural relaxation for small scale industries, and faster refunds of the GST. And lastly, policy inclusion and representation. I know MSME bodies are there, they are being represented. Ministry of Commerce has a big role to play in this, because some of the policies with regard to the exports or the MSME incentives are framed by the Ministry of Commerce. So if they have a common platform with the MSME representatives or the bodies which are there, but they are not properly regulated, so that we have a issue with that. In conclusion, financial assistance, access to the testing facilities, if you give this, it is not difficult for MSMEs to meet the expectation of the global requirement. So I am very sure that, because I am also involved in IIP for more than 40 years, I am very happy now that the way we are progressing with regard to the education, the testing labs, and world-class facilities, IIP will play a major role in helping the MSMEs. And I wish all the best for IIP in this new role which we are envisaging for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Bandwalji, very well put. Sanjay ji, my question to you is, how do you compare the products and services which are provided by you vis-a-vis your global competitors, and what challenges do you face in the market?
Sir, actually, if we compare the major challenge is the cost part, the costing. When we just develop the packaging as compared to the plastic, basically plastic is being used as a flexible packaging, because most of the demand which we receive from our brand owner is against the flexible packaging, right? So how can we replace that flexible packaging with the paper-based packaging? Whatever solution we have as on date, right? If we compare the costing, so it doesn't meet that cost part. So that's a major challenge. We have already developed the bioplastic based, and that is compared with the PE coated material, and PE is cheap as compared to bioplastic. So if government regulation comes with regards to that, whatever material we have to use, that has to be biodegradable and sustainable. In that case, paper can be a good source, and we can develop that product. But we are working on the cost part too, because if you look at the paper compared to the global paper, right? So major the constitution is the raw material. So the wood what we are taking, that is approximately 30 to 40% higher than the global competition. So we are working with the farmers to grow the more plant, so that we can have the available wood for us to that counterpart. So this is another part, and we are also working on the efficiency part, because most of the requirement comes from the lower GSM point of view. And when we manufacture the lower GSM on that machine, our productivity goes down, right? So in that case, again, cost is increases. So we are both working on the technological development, as well as we are working with the farmers, so that we can have the availability of food, so that we can reduce that cost part. Thank you.
Any challenge with respect to quality standards?
Quality standard, definitely, yeah. It differs from the raw material again, because in India, softwood availability is not there, right? So whatever we have the hardwood, right? And we import the softwood again to get that strength properties. So in that case, cost is again increased, right? So we need to work on the how we can just improve our efficiencies as regards to the productivity losses, as well as the how can we reduce the raw material cost.
Thank you. Anita ji, my next question to you is, what in your view, what does the Indian MSME packaging industry lacks to meet the global quality requirements, and how NABL can contribute to enhance the export of packaging from India?
As far as the support to MSME is concerned, like what sir was saying is when we talk about the advantages of quality system. So we all are well versed with the advantages of quality system, and as I can only say that you can leave your tensions, you can leave your stress on NABL. We will take care of the quality. Because sir was talking about this, that competent manpower is one of the issue. And he was also raising one point that I have noted about compliance with the international standards. So whenever we will do an assessment, because we are having a system in place, wherein every year we are doing the surveillance. So every surveillance, we are going to check all this implementation of the compliance of the standards, and we will ensure that the competent manpower is in place to do that activity. So in that way, we are very much involved in the packaging industries, and the advantage of accreditation is related to credibility and trust, wherein through this assessment we can ensure that yes, trust is there, because regularly monitoring is there. So we can ensure that. And then global recognition, I have already explained that it's required, like global recognition, we are having an international MRA, so it is tested once and accepted everywhere would be there. So that is there. Then compliance with the regulatory standard is also one of the point wherein we are checking the requirement of the regulatory requirement. We are ensuring that the labs are complying with that. Then broadening market access. This is actually, this NABL accreditation, it helps the business access new market by ensuring that packaging material meet the necessary legal and safety requirement, thus facilitating the trade and broadening the export opportunity. And in the last, I can only say that it improved the operational efficiency. When I'm saying that it improves the operational efficiency is like when we are doing a NABL, encourage the continuous improvement in the laboratory, because we are having a system in place. All the time there would be some non-compliance, there would be some improvement point, and that would lab, they will take the actions on that. So it will lead to an improvement in the system of the laboratory. So this all are the advantages, and this advantages, it enhances the credibility, efficiency, and international competitiveness of the packaging industries. And with this, I would also like to inform you that I don't know whether all of you are aware or not, IIP is having 8 laboratories which are in the packaging sector, and all of them are NABL accredited. So you know well that how the system works in the IIP when the labs are NABL accredited. And in this, I would like to take this opportunity to announce one thing, that very soon we are going to give the, we are going to make a separate group for packaging materials, and this is to enhance the visibility of the importance of this sector. And for this, we are very much thankful to IIP, especially Dr. Tanveer Alam, who has taken the lead into this sector and who has provided the input to us. So very soon we will be, we'll come up with a separate group for the packaging material to grant the accreditation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think what I can understand very clearly, like what Dr. Dwivedi said and what you said, I think there needs to be much more interaction between these bodies, these institutions, and the industry. And I think we have the institutions there to enable us, to help us, to understand the testing and the various requirements. Thank you very much. Ribaji, the next question to you is, what are the key Indian government initiatives such as APIDA or PMFME that supports exporters in agri-food packaging, and how can stakeholders better leverage them?
Yeah, for compliance department, basically we try to help our exporters by recognizing the laboratories. We do have a laboratory recognition program which is integrated with the NABL, And plus this, there could be some specific requirements for the different commodities. So to enable that, we have a product specific recognition also, which we do it on an annual basis, because wherever this crop season starts, before that we do this recognition so that the laboratory should not miss any kind of molecules which have been put into any kind of change, or maybe any revisions have been made by the importing country, or any kind of exclusion has been made by the importing country. So this recognition program helps our exporters to go to those labs because they are already having the enable accreditation and they are competent enough to do the molecules as per the international requirements. Second is we do grant assistance to our exporters who are members of APIDA. This could be in different spectrum. One is for the analytical purpose. If any of the exporters, they are having in-house laboratories, you can upgrade the laboratories by purchase of the high-end equipments, which could be maybe for the pesticide residue analysis, or maybe for heavy metals, mycotoxins, it could be anything. So depend on the product destination which you are doing, you can avail this facility from APIDA. Second, any commercial laboratory also, even if they are enable accredited, if they want to expand their scope, or maybe if they want to add anything more as per the importing country, then that also is possible. There the ceiling limit is comparatively more than the in-house laboratories. Third is about the different food safety certifications which have been mentioned, which is of course, it is a cumbersome process and it is expensive also. But we do help our exporters if you obtain the food safety certification, whether it is ISO 22000, HACCP, BRC, or maybe the GAP certification at the farm level, which is again required for the destinations like EU, UK, or maybe Thailand such as. There also we assist our exporters to obtain the certification. We will be giving them the 50% of the total cost. Plus the main thing which as an export promotion body APIDA takes care is we encourage our exporters to participate in the international events, and especially on a subsidized rate, and many of these events will have specific corners or maybe areas wherein innovative ideas, because if you are going some innovative packaging or maybe some product formulations, maybe you can put it into for display over there, and there could be some kind of encouragement being given by the event managers also. So participation and also understanding how the other countries are doing it, that's also very important for us, especially other developed countries, how they have come up with new ideas in terms of the packaging, and also how they are presenting it with respect to the artwork they are doing it. So all these things, there will be an exposure for the stakeholders to see how globally, what actually the global consumers are looking for, and how we can meet up to that level. Third, very most important thing I would like to mention here is, we always try to see how we can align Indian standards or maybe our Indian conditions to the importing countries' requirement, for which we negotiate with importing countries for any kind of bilateral discussions, and in many cases we try to see whether equivalency or mutual recognition is attained, and this is very well evident for the organic products, wherein we have the equivalency with the European Union and Switzerland, and acceptance has been given by the Great Britain. Very recently, Taiwan also, we have signed MRA with Taiwan for trade of the organic products. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My last question to you, Ketul, and I purposely kept this the last question. I want to ask you that what are gaps between Indian packaging products vis-a-vis what you see with the global products or the global suppliers? Very quick answer, we are short of time, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'll keep this to very quick 3 points. I think the first one is innovation. You know, in a previous role, I worked on beauty and personal care, and that's a category that's driven by excitement in the market. And therefore, we were always on the lookout for what's new, especially from a packaging standpoint. And invariably, we would need to reach out to global packaging suppliers or go to sort of the global packaging expos that happen to be able to find something that was truly unique. Very, very rarely did that happen from one of our Indian partners. I think point number 2 is on quality. In terms of the fit and finish, perhaps through better tooling, more automation, and also in terms of the consistency that we found in quality, there was a vast gap. That for us used to become a very, very significant sort of driver for having to choose global partners despite very heavy intent of working with Indian partners only. And the last one is a very high say-do gap that we found with Indian partners. Typically with our global partners, we never liked what we heard from them, especially in terms of supply timelines. But what we heard is usually what we got, despite the fact that there was time on sea, etc., which could be variable, but usually that's what we got. Whereas with our domestic Indian partners, we got very aggressive timelines, we heard very aggressive timelines, but in many cases we found slip-ups happen on those timelines. So I think these 3 quick ones, which kind of came through as very high-level kind of points on this.
So to sum up what you're saying is our R&D capabilities are not yet there. Maybe because we don't have the right budget and the right people to carry those activities, as Mr. Bantwal earlier said, the right manpower in the MSME industry. And I think the speed and our commitment in terms of the timeline and in terms of delivering what we commit. And I think I fully agree with you being in this industry for all these years. Not that I have faltered on commitment, I have my friends here who can vouch for that. But what you're saying, I fully agree with you. I would have loved to ask and throw open some Q&A, but we have a GB meeting which is at 4 p.m. I would love to, thank all of you for taking your time out, your day out, and coming here and sharing your insights with all. Guys, let's have a huge round of applause for our panelists here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much for an insightful and informative session. I now request Session Chair, Mr. Subodh, to please present a token of appreciation. We'll start with Ms. Anita Rani, Director, NABL. Can we have a round of applause for Ms. Anita Rani? Ladies and gentlemen, we can do a little better. Can we give her an energetic round of applause? Ms. Reba Abraham, Deputy General Manager, APEDA, please step forward. Kindly keep the applause going as we present a memento to Ms. Reba Abraham. Mr. Prabhakar R. Bantawal, Chairman and MD, Suprabha Protective Products Private Limited. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Ketan Bhatia, Vice President, Consumer Products, Tata 1mg. Kindly keep the applause going. Thank you very much, Mr. Bhatia. Mr. Sanjay Kumar Yadav, Head QA R&D and New Product Development, Century Pulp and Paper, Aditya Birla Real Estate. I request Dr. Tanveer Alam to please join us on stage. We now present a token of gratitude to our session chair, Shri Subodh Gupta, Managing Director, Terrasol Polymers. A round of applause for our session chair. I now request all our learned speakers to please step forward for a group photograph. Our eminent panelists to kindly come together for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, this is to inform you that we are skipping the tea and coffee break in the interest of time, and that's why it's being served inside the hall. So we request you all to please remain seated and please be with us till the end of the day. We have one more session to go. Thank you very much for joining us. In the interest of time, we'll be skipping tea and coffee break. It will be served as you can see inside the hall. We request you to please stay back as we have one more final session to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is to inform you that after receiving an overwhelming response for the 5th ISPI, which took place this year in the month of March, we are delighted to announce that we'll be organizing the 6th ISPI and the 60th Foundation Day next year. And we plan to organize these events on an even bigger and grander scale. We request you to now direct your attention towards the screen as we'll showcase a video. Can we please play a video? Can you please play the video now?
We are delighted to share that. Following the overwhelming success of the International Summit for Packaging Industries, held on the 5th and 6th of March 2025 at Hotel Eros, which featured technical sessions, research conclave and packathon, where startups and entrepreneurs showcase their innovative ideas. The Indian Institute of Packaging will be organizing International Summit for Packaging Industries 2026 once again. The upcoming edition is scheduled for February 2026 and promises to be even more dynamic and engaging. We are also pleased to announce the launch of the Indian Institute of Packaging's 60th Golden Jubilee celebrations next year in 2026. A momentous milestone commemorating 6 decades of excellence in packaging. We look forward to your continued support and participation in this celebration of innovation and sustainability in packaging.
So ladies and gentlemen, please save the date and block your calendars for our upcoming events in 2026, that is the 6th ISPI and the 60th Foundation Day. And now we'll quickly prepare our stage for the last and the final session for the day on packaging innovation and Skill India. I'll also like to inform you that if you wish to receive the photograph from today's event, then you can scan this barcode. It is very much available on almost all the tables. So you can scan this barcode, fill in your details, and we'll be mailing you your pictures from today's event by tomorrow. And now let me quickly take you through the final session. In our upcoming session, we'll emphasize on the role of innovation in packaging and its alignment with the Skill India initiative. We will explore how advancing packaging technologies can create new opportunities for skill development, empower the workforce, and drive sustainable growth in the packaging sector. So we are starting in next 10 seconds. Our stage is almost set. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming session chair, Professor Bhim Arya Maitri, Director, IIM Nagpur. Please put your hands together and welcome our session chairperson. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Joining him on stage are our session experts. I'll now be inviting our lead speaker, Ms. Ramneek Kaur Majithia, Director, NID Kurukshetra. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Can we all please welcome her? We also have with us Mr. Venkata Sridhar Golapudi, Director, Integrated Supply Chain and Operations, Bisleri International Private Limited, Mumbai. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Shri Kaushik Nag, CEO, Flexibles and CPP Jupiter Laminators. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Kindly keep the applause going. This is our final session. Professor Dr. Tanveer Alam, Additional Director, ROIIP Delhi, joining us again on stage. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, Dr. Alam. And we also have with us Shri Mohit Kumar, MD, EcoShore Pulp Molding. A hearty welcome to you, sir. Once again, a very warm welcome. And I'll now hand over to Mr. Ghosh, to Professor Ghosh for further proceedings.
Everybody, hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, welcome to the third session. We could not give you any tea break, but I think tea is being served and you can enjoy the tea and enjoy the session together. Third session being the last session, but it's actually the most important session which I felt. The key theme for this session is the innovation and skilling. I think this goes hand in hand, and is a very important for Indian Institute of Packaging, and also for all packaging development and innovation and what industry is facing. So keeping in that view, and as a directive from the Ministry of Commerce, we are very happy to see that they also have given this importance for this particular theme and requested for a panel discussion session on this particular topic. So hence, you can see the importance that has been given to this thing. Personally also, whatever I do in terms of packaging, I see that I already mixed innovation and training and skilling all together, mixed up in my activities. Keeping that in mind, this session will be chaired by Professor Vimaraya Maitri, who is the director of IIM Nagpur. We are really honored to have you, Professor Maitri, with us. Professor Maitri is a distinguished academician and institutional leader, currently serving as the director of IIM Nagpur. He said this is the 14th IIM among the 21 IIM that is all over India. A prolific scholar, Professor Maitri has published over 100 research papers and has served on editorial boards and national committees in higher education and industry. With core expertise in quality management, supply chain, services, and project management, he actively champions interdisciplinary leadership and innovation in packaging, operation strategy, and industry-academia collaboration. All are very important aspects, and to have Professor Maitri to be with us to chair this session today. As we have framed our all sessions like that it will be actually led by a lead speaker. So for this session, our lead speaker is Ms. Ramnik Kaur Majithia. I hope I pronounced all right. Okay. She is the director of National Institute of Design, NID Kurukshetra. I was eagerly waiting, madam, that you accept our invitation and we hear from you, and whole participants are being benefited from your talk. Ms. Majithia brings over 23 years of multidisciplinary experience across strategic leadership, design education, and innovation. She has held pivotal roles, including Vice President Product Management, Director Strategy and Innovation, and Dean Academic Developments. Known for launching academic institutions and pioneering design-led program, she has also trained faculty across India, UK, and South Africa. A published researcher and international speaker, her expertise lies in design thinking, user-centric innovation, and packaging aesthetics. At NID Kurukshetra, she champions culturally rooted and sustainable approaches to modern packaging design education. With this, which is a very important aspect in packaging, we'd like to invite Ms. Majithia to deliver her presentation today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just before I start my presentation, could you all raise your hands? Both the hands. Can we just tap our head a little? Everyone? Okay, let's just stretch our arms a little. The right, the left. Thank you so much. I'm not going to ask you to stand up. I know you've been sitting throughout the day, so I thought let's just freshen up a little and then see what is innovation really about. It's really stretching your imagination. It's really stretching your creativity and looking at newer solutions that could be brought in so that our world and the humans around and the world around really benefits from it. So if we start here about packaging innovation, let's understand what packaging really did when it started. It was meant to just hold a product and protect it. And of course, there was a visual appeal to it. I'm sorry, I think in the shift of presentation from a MacBook to a Windows platform, it's shifted the text also. When I started looking at the market segmentation of packaging, 45% goes into food processing, 25% pharmaceuticals, and 10% each for personal care, beverages, and industrial products. And we all know that the annual growth rate is around 11 to 12%, and that's what we've discussed since morning as well. There are about 5 million people who are working in this industry, and there is a dearth. There is still a gap that needs to be filled in. So let's understand what's really happening. In 2025, when we look at packaging, it's now also about sustainability, storytelling, experience, and technology. When we start talking about sustainability, we've had a panel, so I'm not going to go into detail about that, but it's really about eco-packaging and looking at the biodegradable materials, packaging which is editable, compostable, and also water-soluble, something that just dissolves back into the environment without really harming it. And we've seen examples from banana fiber, rice husk, mushroom-based packaging and seaweed-based packaging. IKEA has just introduced. I'm sure all of you would be aware about this. How many of you are? Okay, thank you. So IKEA has been using mushroom-based packaging. So instead of using styrofoam, they're now using this as the base. Another company which is looking at seaweed-based packaging. So they made these films, those plastic films, which again dissolve. And we did talk about something in the previous panel also about it. The banana fiber packaging, we've seen it around us very often now. And of course, e-commerce is further driving strong and eco-friendly packaging. And this has become a part of our lifestyle now. Let's move to storytelling, stories that connect. What are brands really doing with their packaging? Because that's the first touch point for any brand. Any product that you buy, you don't get to touch the product immediately. It's the packaging that catches your attention. It's the packaging that you touch and feel first. That's what it is. What are brands doing? They're humanizing themselves. They start talking to you through it. They tell their own stories, what they stand for, what are the aspirations these brands have. Also the product story. You would have seen some of these products say that, oh, I was built in so-and-so place. It took me so many years to reach your hands. Take care of me and dispose me of correctly. So those are the kind of stories that you start seeing in packaging now. And there are also behind the scenes stories. Fab India talks about who is that skilled worker who's actually worked on your garment. So you get to know the names as well. And of course, we look at collectibles, something that we want to own and keep for long. So packaging is not just about disposing it off and something that is just covering and protecting the product, but it is something that we want to collect and save for ourselves. Just a few examples of how a story is built visually. And that's what a lot of designers also do, make it visually appealing through images, through text, through colors, through the layouts that are there. You've seen these packages around. Every time Swiggy delivers, there's some story or the other. And of course, when you see these stories, you take a moment to read through these. So it's not a bag which is just carrying your products, you take out your products and throw it away, but it is something that starts talking to you in the form of a story. Now, with the technology building up, we're talking about smart packaging and innovative AR packaging. We're talking about temperature indicators which are there on the pharmaceutical products. We're talking about tamper-proof seals that are there, the QR codes which you scan and you get more information about, and the NFC chips which help you make a product come alive in front of you. Some of the examples here. So if a product, if a pharmaceutical, like if any of the medicines is exposed at a certain environment or a certain temperature, it is indicated with that red spot there. Of course, you scan and it comes alive. So packaging is not just about materials, it's also about the stories, it's also about the experience, the customer experience that we're providing. So you want to know more about the product? Scan it and you have all your information in front of you. How are we building these experiences? And when was the last time a package truly surprised you? Whether it was a bottle that was not supposed to be opened up with a lid, but it just peels off. Maybe it's an origami, just opens up so beautifully in front of you. Or a little ritual. So going back to a basic one, the Kit Kat, do you remember? They tell you how to open the product, how to open up the packaging. So there are steps. You slide it, you run your finger or your thumb through it, slice it, and then have it. So now there are stories being told, experiences being created through these unboxing rituals. Every time you open up any of your Apple products, you want to keep the packaging safe. You're very careful about removing that little sticker also which is there, which is very strategically placed. So looking at, again, packaging holistically. Inclusivity. It is not just about visuals, but it's about including people who are differently abled. Packaging which you can feel, people who cannot see can feel and read and get more information about the products. The immersive experiences and the dynamic content. So this packaging by Philips, the bulb keeps changing the color, the light color changes. And this packaging actually has that thing where you just turn it around and it tells you all the different colors it will change into. We've talked about the unboxing of the Apple product. A little experience of packaging which is not just about safeguarding a product, but also making it very interesting. And again, in the morning, there was a conversation about the onions being sold at a certain price. It's how it is packaged. Similarly, if we look at this packaging, we understand what's different and what's working effectively. There are also interesting things that are happening in terms of packaging. When you get your products through Amazon and any other services, online services, you open it up, you many a times find these startups giving you a little story inside about their setup and thanking you for being a part of their journey. So again, it is that unboxing experience which is talking to you in more than one ways. And of course, bringing your packaging to life. We've seen, let me just see if this runs. We've seen videos come alive when you actually scan your package. It starts giving you more information. And along with that, there is fun element that's brought in with packaging for kids, for newer generation, where, I'm going to skip this, there are games, AR games, web AR-based games which come alive, where kids, when the parents, they actually scan it, there is a game. Like this one is more like a running game where you have to take care of yourself from the bacteria that are around, but also gain power from the energy sources that are around. So see, packaging, again, started off as something which was tangible to something that is moving across to the parallel world and becoming intangible as well, just bringing the whole experience together. Now, along with that, if we bring in the Skill India and give livelihood with dignity to people around us, if there are all these innovations happening, and this is something that we're seeing around ourselves, I'm sure there is far more that's still waiting to come and surprise us every day. How do we prepare our people, our population for it, whether a youth who is living in a rural area or somebody who's living in the cities and being a part of the smart cities? So broadly speaking, if we talk about sustainable packaging material, how do we handle it? Smart packaging technologies. So giving a brief introduction or giving just as brief about what are the new kind of technologies that people need to be aware of. So training them in that, automation and machinery operation, and of course, design and prototyping. So when I started looking at it, it's a brief, just a note here to start that thinking process of what could be the skills that could be given through Skill India initiative for all these 4 different aspects. When we link packaging innovation with Skill India, we don't just create better packaging, we create jobs that matter, products that stand out, and solutions that last. Let's design a future where India not only leads in what we make, but also how we pack it, who packs it, and what impact it leaves behind. It's really about packaging to package, produce, and empower our population, our country. And in other words, it's really about intent, innovation, prosperity, and that's what IIP stands for and IIP is talking about. Thank you so much.
Very good evening, distinguished lead speaker and distinguished panel members and all the invited guests and my dear students. So panel number 3, and you have listened all the 3 panels and inaugural session, and this is the panel we are talking about packaging innovation and Skill India. Now when it comes to innovation, many times innovation means doing something different than what currently we are doing. But if you look at the today, country is on the movement. And many times you might have heard about who speaks is more important what it is spoken. If something spoken by the Prime Minister, it is more valuable, same thing is spoken by somebody else, it is not. Who speaks is also important. Maybe 30, 40 years back, what America speaks used to be more important than what India speaks. So who speaks is important, and today country is on the movement. Today India is declared as a youth nation, demographic dividend, youngest population, working population in the world, more than 60%. So, and if you see the history of the world, youngest populated countries have ruled the world. 1965, Japan was the youngest, 80 to 95, Japan ruled the world. Then Korea, then Singapore became innovative nation, 95 to 2000, and 2000 China was the youngest nation till today. China is ruling the world. China minus it is difficult to do. And today, after COVID, 2005-6 to 2055, 2056, such a long period, India is going to be the youth nation. 2061, India is going to be declared as an aging nation like Europe, America, Japan. Japan is 49. So therefore, when we talk about innovation in packaging, whom we are going to give the product, which nation, which country, and what kind of country it is. So India being a youth nation, India is not only youth nation, India is now a powerful country in the world. India has become center point of the globe when it comes to GDP growth. Last 30 years, more than 7% of the GDP growth in this world is only one nation, that is India. And if you see the history of India, 47 to 2007, 60-year India took to add 1 trillion, but 2007 to 14, 2 trillion, 14 to 2020, 3 trillion, and 2020 to 2024, February India touched 4+ trillion, and 26, 27, India is going to be the third largest, adding 5 trillion, and then there onwards, it is not the prediction, it is going to be the reality. IMF predicted 28 India is going to achieve the third biggest economy, beating Japan and Germany, but 1 year ahead of IMF, India is going to achieve it. And then there onwards, every year or two, India is going to add 1 trillion, and Viksit Bharat, our Prime Minister's vision, Amrit Kal. So India is going to add so many trillion, and 35 to 40 trillion India is going to add. So in this context, this topic, innovation in packaging and skill India, plays a very, very important role. So India, from India to the world, the journey is going to start. So in this context, when it comes to innovation, innovation for quality, packaging for quality when it comes to innovation. So when you are going to package, what kind of quality we are looking to that? Earlier days, packaging means only for protection. That was the main purpose. Today it is not only for protection, it is for the aesthetics, it is for the serviceability, it is for the durability, and if you keep on adding many quality parameters, 7, 8 dimensions of quality will come into picture when we go for packaging. And now, packaging for sustainability is a new phenomena. Sustainability point of view, you have to package. So like that, the things are going to add, and packaging also, while manufacturing the packaging item, you have to also look at the circular economy. So the various parameters are going to add, and these are all part of the innovation. And morning speakers talked about, MSMEs, 7 crore, 70 million MSMEs, and they need a packaging. And Ms. Ramneet ji was talking about packaging 2 industries. One is food processing, and second one is pharma. Together constitute more than 70%. So while doing the innovation, where we have to give attention, what areas we have to focus depending upon the quantum and requirement, that is another area one should look into that. So we have very, very distinguished people with us, and keeping the time in mind, we are going to straightway start the panel discussion. And first of all, I request each panel member, they should speak about 3 to 4 minutes, not more than 4 minutes. And you can take less time, but not more than 4 minutes, keeping time in mind. Whatever comes to your mind related to innovation and Skill India, one has to speak. And when it comes to Skill India, Government of India has come out with mini and micro credentials courses, and National Council for Vocational Education and Training is also certifying. I am sure IIP is going to gain a lot out of that. So keeping innovation in mind, what kind of skilling areas one need to focus. So in these 2 areas, I think I request each panel member to speak about 3 to 4 minutes. And then we start the second round, we talk about the questions straightway. So thank you very much. Now I request, before that I'll quickly introduce our panel members. To begin with, Venkat Sridhar. Venkat Sridhar ji is basically a seasoned end-to-end supply chain leader with a stellar track record across the global brand like Kellogg, Amazon, Coca-Cola, all the great brands you name, Sridhar ji is associated. Second, Kaushik Nag. Kaushik ji is a CEO, Flexibles and CPP, Jupiter Laminators. And our third Speaker is, panel member is Professor Dr. Tanveer Alam, who is a popular and he is a leader in IPP, Additional Director and Regional Officer of IIPP, New Delhi. And the next panel member is distinguished panel member is Sri Mohit Kumarji, Managing Director, EcoSure Pulp Modeling. So these are the leaders. I'll start with Sridharji and then we'll continue one by one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible? Okay. I think, Miss Ramnik has stole the show, okay? Whatever we could cover as a panel, I think she made it in one shot. It's like, so the most of it would be a cost of repetition, but, we would like to spend little more from a brand perspective, how this would come alive when we talk about the brands and how the brands would, embrace the philosophy to drive the innovation in packaging, and that in turn drive the sustainability of the business, and as well as dealing with how we maximize the resources that goes into this packaging as a and how we look at the overall strategy relating to innovation in the packaging industry. So one, when we talk about, I would like to keep it in three different, segments. One is, talking about the innovation in the materials and processes. Second is the circular economy, like, how it uplifts the overall circular economy of the business, not only the brand owners, even the recyclers, how it happens, and how the life will change for good. And the last is how the knowledge sharing can come in a way, because if we wish to become the country that we want to known for in the years to come, the overall knowledge spread has to be there, and how the cross collaboration across institution, academia, and as well as the business houses can come together to make that dream achievable. I think that is the three places I would like to touch upon. Okay. Apart from what she has spoken about, how the packaging, it's not only about product configurations or, protecting the product. It also has a large role to play in terms of, the storytelling. The brand should tell and what it is known for. The packaging is now become such synonymous. So I was with Amazon, where we have said that the cross collaboration opportunity, where our plain package can come on the top with a branding, like, we collaborated with, Hindustan Unilever. We just, utilized our packages to talk about the various brands and initiatives. As a brand powerhouse, we look at 3R strategy: reduce, reuse, and recycle. 40% of our business, we would like to hinge upon the reuse strategy, so that the overall carbon footprint that we consume for running a business gets optimized. So that we are very conscious about using the reuse strategy to look at it. And in innovation circle, we have look at optimizing what goes into the packaging, in terms of right sizing the packaging. I will not say it is elimination of waste, but I would say it's right sizing effort in terms of what the packaging is intended to deliver its purpose. We would right size that package to that extent by using the packaging materials which are biodegradable or water soluble or compostable packaging. So that comes as our first priority, so that the package will become a more sustainable way, and it doesn't add any more remnants to the Mother Earth. And the overall energy footprint which is being taken for designing the packaging. So when we look at lots of technologies in terms of designing. There is something called FEA, finite element analysis, and we use a lot of tools which are going to be, there are multiple tools which are available, which would optimize the overall density, the packaging density, and the overall ecological benefits in terms of warehousing space reduction, optimizing the throughput from that, and optimizing the cost to serve at the end of the day, so that the overall sustainable way, linking to economy, linking to the resource requirement. The overall thing we would design using the technology like FEA. There are multiple tools that we use to design a particular package. And looking at the shapes, one is customization of shape. Multiple customers want a customization to their local requirement or whatever, it's called signature packs. Signature packs are fine if it becomes a kind of customization and which cannot be replicable across the industry. That will also become a big challenge in terms of not optimizing the resources that are already created or the supply chains that we have already created in the network. So customization without adding more to the resource requirement is one of our key imperative in terms of while designing the packages. The overall circular economy and looking at the biodecomposable waste or water soluble packagings, we take care as a brand owner in terms of prioritizing those packs to reduce the carbon footprint. And we also collaborate a lot with institutes and in terms of the knowledge sharing. Participating in forums like this would enhance and create, gives us an additional input that why are we not thinking in this direction in terms of the sustainability angle. So there are multiple solutions which are available. One simplest solution is like one of the street side vendor.
We can close down. 4 minutes
I'll take one more second and I'll just finish. One of the street side vendor was selling a guava juice and he's using the guava shell to serve the juice. So his packaging input or the remnants of packaging is zero because the consumer will drink the juice and also eat the guava. So something like that, when they design the overall supply chain, that would benefit in terms of driving the sustainability. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Venkat. Now I request Kaushik ji, you can give your opening remark. Both the areas, one is innovation, second is skilling.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I think the topic which I am made to speak, I think it is very close to my heart because the skill and the innovation is a very integral part of the industry which I am associated with maybe for last 2.5 decades. The skill sets, when I joined this industry 2.5 decades back, and the skill sets as on today are completely different. The entire packaging industry has evolved, and I think the next 10 years would be evolving further. This is just at the infant stage as to what we all keep talking in the seminars and the forums like this. But the real adaptability, both commercially and technically, I think has to go a long way. And in that journey, I think there is a lot of collaboration required from maybe the material side, from the machinery side, from the processor side, and finally the brand owners. So this is a journey which we all have to collaborate on ground in reality, and for that the skill sets are very important from a fraternity like Indian Institute of Packaging, who would be contributing largely by delivering some good students for an industry like us to finally deliver a final product to the end user. So this is one part of it. On the other side, when I come to the innovation, I would say that we work very closely with the brand owners, and the ever evolving challenges still remains lots unaddressed for maybe a little lack of understanding, a lack of clarity, a lack of adaptability. So I think, this is something which still needs to be worked more closely in a holistic way to make a meaningful impact when we talk about skill and innovation. I think that's what I could conclude in a shortest possible way. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kaushik ji. Thank you very much. Now may I request Professor Tanveer Alam ji, so you give your views on innovation and skilling.
Thank you, Chairman sir. When we talk about the innovation and skilling,
when we have to connect with the activities of IIP, both serve the objective and mandate you correlate with the Indian Institute of Packaging. This is the unique institute in the country. It is not only to have an education institute. It is not only, it is the research institute. It is not only who provides testing and certification facility. You can think not any other institute is like in India who gives teaching, who gives outreach skill training programs, who gives testing and certification, and by the same time playing important role for the policy making at different inter-government bodies. So now, for recent time now you have seen how we have upgraded our, how we have diversified our teaching. One example, I can quote you. Already morning you have seen inaugural session we have discussed and shown our activity that we have started BS program, MS program. It is not one day job. We have done a thorough analysis of the skill requirement for the country. I would like to quote that more than 35,000 packaging professionals are required for the country. Then it is not only for R&D requirements. We required also a person who can run the show, who can run the machine. It means huge amount of skilled manpower required who can run the show. In floor management, who can run the machine and equipment. So keeping in mind, you know, we have 8 centers. So we have identified the Indian Institute of Packaging, Lucknow we are going to inaugurate, where we are going to start to skill development part. We are going to start a 3 years diploma program in packaging. This is the first time in the country, AIST approved program we are going to run. So that is the one area. Another, mid-management positions, requirement is huge. So that we have started again first time in the country, the BS program in packaging technology. Then again, our students are love to work in converting industry, user industry. That requirement is will be there and it is there. So therefore we have a strong base of alumni globally. Now innovation we are talking about that we are going to have a PhD programs. This will be again industry oriented. It will not be a conventional and a traditional. That we are planning that PhD program will be the industry oriented. We take the problem from industry and give the solution. The industry sponsored PhD program we are planning. And right now we have a 4 years BS program. We want to have a now integrated BS and MS. So then align with the new education new education policy, which is national education policy, in fact 2020, where there is a lot of option is given. So therefore we have modified our first year course curriculum different from normal conventional engineering course, where the first year we have introduced some packaging course, so that if any students want to exit the course and get a certificate after 1 year, he will get a certificate. After 2 years, he will get a diploma. After 3 years, he will get a degree, and 4 years, he will get a BS program. Again, he can either exit ready for the industry or continue for the research. He will go for the MS program. Now, next step will be there. That will be the again demand for the industry. We want to have all our courses integrated, BS and MS, or MS and PhD programs will be there. And third important for the years, last 59 years, Indian Institute of Packaging is, we have a 46 PG diploma program where the science engineer students are eligible to continue postgraduate diploma program. So even we have done analysis, thoroughly survey pan-India we have done, we came to know that there is huge demand of techno-commercial. Our students of PG diploma do not work as a techno-commercial job. So that we are starting MS again, BMS course. It is not BBA course. It is BMS. It is value-added course. So that is there. So keeping in mind techno-commercial, that start courses. So these are the vision we are moving, and that is the requirement. And not only to this, international collaboration is required both in research and as well as education program. And happy to share that we are going to sign MOU with Michigan State University. Not only it will be Michigan State University, other foreign universities we are going to reach out and final. It is the already we got in principle approval from Michigan State University, USA.
So Tanvirji will come back. I'll come back next question.
Thank you.
Ask about it.
Thank you. These are
Thank
the
you very much.
innovation and research is required for the future.
Okay.
Requirement for the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanvirji. Now, I think I request Mohit Kumar ji, Packaging Innovation and Skilling. Sir, please give your opening remark.
Hi, good evening to everybody. I have allotted 240 seconds, so I'll stick to that.
3 minutes, not 40 seconds.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
240 seconds. Okay, you already took my 3 seconds. First of all, thank you very much to Dr. Tanveer Alam and team of IIP, Dr. Rahul, and each one of you. You have done a splendid job to make this very efficient event. And though we are the last session panelist, I am representing EcoSure Pulp Molding team. And the topic is, it's a talk of the town. Every day we talk about sustainability or plastic-free living. So many things we do, but you will find so many plastic bottles here and so many litters outside also. So we talk about sustainability, we talk about reduce, reuse, recycle, but we overconsume. We waste water, everything we do reverse. So good, government spends thousands of crores on this. But now let's talk about the good. As Mr. Bhimrao said, that we are the youngest population in the world. I would say we are the most eco-conscious population in this century, because I found the young generation, they have see for the reducing the carbon credits, they talk about circular economy, they talk about compostability, biodegradability, they use more e-commerce or quick commerce, so they save on the petrol or fuel. So people are very conscious. I feel that now the time has come where our packaging should be labeled by IIP, whether it is approved by IIP or not. So eco-conscious labeling is must. Every packaging should have a eco-conscious labeling, A plus or B or C plus. And I found IIP, especially this chapter, Delhi chapter, is doing exceptionally well because they are working towards making IIP as a Vishwa Guru. I have seen their training programs a couple of months back, and the kind of efforts Dr. Alam is putting in and his team is putting in, Dr. Rahul also, that they are truly working globally. Their mindset is global. So I will really want to be part of your 60th Foundation Day, want to see everything should be natural, organic, no plastic. Okay, I am against plastic. And though we can't avoid in our day-to-day life, but we feel India is globally recognized after this last week of war. People are literally seeing we are the largest exporter of arms. We are overpowering China. In last 4 or 5 years, Make in India is really, especially in defense exports, we are going to be #1 in next couple of months' time. So similar way, people are looking towards India, China +1 or alternative for this US anti-tariffs. So there is a scope for packaging, and there is a huge scope for IIP to play a major role in getting packaging certification and making incubation centers or innovation center, though we are a part of IIP for that as well. So I see there is a huge role IIP is playing, and we are very, very honored to be part of your 59th day. Many congratulations, and wish to be part of your 100th Foundation Day also. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Mohit Kumarji. Very quickly, to recap, the madam, she spoke about, Ramnik spoke about tradition with technology, her experience. End of the day, people are looking for the experience, not the product, not the packaging. What is your experience? She spoke about. Venkatji spoke about, most important part, that is, all the experiences of Amazon and Coca-Cola all. So listen to the unspoken. What others are not speaking, but it is not written, it is not there, but you will be having a kind of experience out of that. And Kaushik ji spoke about, innovation skill you cannot separate it. If you want to get into new, you have to always, quickly, because in this changing world, present is all continuously changing. So to remain present, you keep on innovating, keep on adding a new skill, reskilling, upskilling, and also unlearning. I think these are the important aspects when you get into the packaging. What works packaging in 10 years back, it is not going to work out. And Alapji spoke about, the research. You see, as an education institution, Indian Institute of Packaging, it is going to march towards not only academic institution, but it is going to make a mark in India as a research institute. And also it is going to have international many tie-ups with Michigan and all. So it is going to make a mark. So Mohitji spoke about, this entire global phenomena. So India, this 21st century belongs to India. 21st century belongs to India as a young nation, as a economically fastest growing nation. If you name any parameter, this century belongs to India. So this is first round is over. Now, before going to the second round, you all know that those who use Indigo and they give, paper boat. You all seen the paper boat? Paper boat, he is a boy, Haryana boy, Neeraj Kakkar, student of MDI Gurgaon. I was the dean over there. He came out with the paper boat, there is a juice, but the way the kind of packaging has been done. So it is, because of that, he started a small juice factory in Gurgaon. From there moved to Bangalore, and now he is a well accomplished industrialist. And not only juice, but his packaging plays a very, very important role. Neeraj Kakkar. So this speaks a lot about innovation. He came out the innovation. Juice everywhere it was there. Already it was also sold many places. That packaging took Neeraj Kakkar to what he is there today. And I was requesting him, can you come on my board? I was the director of IM3G. He said, sir, ये कमाने का टाइम है सर मेरे को अभी मैं कभी आके एड्रेस करूंगा मैं बोर्ड गिड में आता नहीं हूँ. Because he was so involved, engaged, building the company through doing all this kind of innovation. उसके बाद ही ये innovation जो ये package लेके आ गए, paper boat. I think this is what real innovation is all about. Now we'll go for the second round, and I will begin with second round with Mohit Kumar ji. So who is close to me, I will start with him. So Mohit ji, what are the emerging trends in packaging innovation that India must embrace to stay globally competitive? You see, today there is a stiff competition, disruptions are happening in this disruptive world. What is innovative package today, it is not going to be tomorrow. Yesterday of tomorrow is today, unless until we predict 3 years down the line what packaging materials are going to disappear, what new materials are going to come. So sense making is extremely important when we get into packaging and innovation. So how to India should remain competitive and top of the top. And again, most important is from India to the world, a packaging should move. Not from world to the India. Earlier we have listened that international compliance is the biggest problem. Now if you decide to from India to the world, what kind of strategy we need to adopt, sir?
Very good question. You see, first of all, I just saw Ms. Ramnik one slide about mushroom packaging, which IKEA is using. You see, every packaging is good as long as it is compostable and as long as it is plastic free. But world, especially Nordic nations, are far, far ahead of us, or even ahead of America. What is happening, being an exporter company, our packaging should have less CBM. It should reduce the size of the packaging so that in one container I can export more boxes. It will bring down my cost of freight. That's one area. We are working on that. Second area is compostability and longer shelf life. compostability is must, but it should be seaworthy. India is having a lot of advantage being a agriculture economy, so much agro waste we are having. I found recently in Malaysia, a couple of months back, people are exporting rice straw molded packaging products for fruits packaging. It is there in my stall, but we are using recycled paper. But in Malaysia, they are exporting those products to Netherlands. And it's 100% made of virgin rice straw, like Parali. So we are developing those products with one more Thai company also. Now, market in India is huge. Raw material availability is huge. Skill availability also is huge, but the lack is certifications. As somebody I mentioned, it's very high cost for getting international recognition because CPIT certificate is not acceptable by Americans or by Europeans. They have their own laboratories, either SGS or Intertech. So IIP should come forward to get us those certifications equally acceptable in Europe. It should equivalent with EN 13232 or ASTM 6868. That is must. Second is government should provide us some incentive to set up these kind of cottage industries like carton making should integrate this packaging, inner protective packaging using compostable material. Right now they are having honeycomb things and other things. So we are working very closely with IIP. We will be setting up an incubation center and innovation lab to share our research. And I feel India has got all the right ingredients, right from age, skill, mentoring like you, and the examples like paperboard. So we are in the right place. Only thing is some little push and some little support from government is needed, which is lacking. To be very honest with you.
Thank you
Government
very
support
much.
is lacking.
Thank you, Mohit Kumar ji. And now may I go to Sri Kaushik ji. Sir, what specific skills are in demand packaging industry today and also tomorrow, and keeping this disruptive world and packaging demand in mind, how education should be evolving so that we can remain relevant to the present world, whereas present world is continuously changing?
See, it is what I mentioned in my opening note when I gave a brief. I think I'll continue from there. If you really look at today's industry scenario of packaging as against what it used to be maybe 2 decades back, it was a very conventional packaging, It was a packaging which was very basics, What has evolved in last maybe 2 decades is maybe more value engineering, There was no challenges of sustainability, there was no challenges of recyclability, there was no monomaterial requirements. So the requirements was completely different maybe few years back as against what it holds good now. And the bigger challenge would be a far sight of maybe next 5 to 10 years. What today's students would be taught is not about today, but it is about the ever-evolving scenario in the packaging industry, be it injection molding, be it blow molding, be it flexible packaging, but it is about the far sight of the institutions like IIP to give them those perspectives which will hold good with this changing scenario for next 5 to 10 years. So the curriculum, the syllabus, so-called this contents has to be really well thought out. The
So
other
just to add the question, you see 4-year BS packaging is going on. Now the moment what they graduate, the disruption would have taken place. Skill has a shelf life today. Lifelong learning is the only way. So how to prepare students as a change master to lead the unknown roles in unborn companies? Because a 4-year again, it is a long period. First year to final year, that curriculum, even whatever best today we can teach. What is going to come 3 years down the line, we can't teach. So how to take care of lifelong learning, I think we would like to know from you.
That's something which I was coming to. In fact, this is just the beginning of the journey, but the journey continues when you are there in your work base. I was coming to the point that this journey is not about completing academics and then leaving it there. it further takes off when you're at the workplace. Maybe a student who is passed out from an Indian Institute of Packaging, he's understanding at the ground level, whether be it the processing side, be it the material side, be it the machinery side, and finally the end delivered product, end to end, understanding has to be more holistic, more hands-on. Unless and until this spectrum is completely covered, I think meeting the final objective of the upcoming challenges would be really difficult. Because the scenario what holds good today, I don't foresee that holds good maybe 2 to 3 years down the road. And that I talk from the context of both domestic as well as global market. Because in days to come, even today, India is a large exporter, and I think in years ahead, we will become a sizable player in the exports market, wherein the requirements of the export criteria have to be understood much better. So on ground level, I would say a more holistic and a learning experience in an end-to-end deliverable is the key to success.
Great, thank you very much. I think Kaushik ji has made a very, very important point. One is, in this changing scenario, whatever the degree you get, that is a certificate. The degree alone is not sufficient. We have to, lifelong learner means how quickly one has to move to learn the new skill, means stay hungry, stay joyful. One has to be stay hungry for learning and also stay joyful, so that we will always remain in the limelight of the market as a leader. I think that is the most important one. Now I'll come back to Dr. Tanveer Alamji. You know that IIPM playing a very, very significant role in packaging, and it is a unique kind of higher education institution in the country. I think morning Misra Sahib has told the kind of growth journey and holistically entire industry IIP is covering. Now there are two aspects, in this packaging industry. India is, if you want to put it into two perspectives, one is urban India, one is rural India. In rural India, people are what I pay, what I get. They believe in that. In urban, or even if you go to 5-star like this, the money is secondary, but the kind of ecosystem, the kind of packaging, the kind of system they expect is different. So because they have tons of money, they don't connect with what they pay, what I get. So how to take care of packaging industry, what kind of curriculum we should bring for, when it goes to rural people, for them safety is good enough. For them probably beautiful package doesn't matter, but if it is a cheap, they will be the happiest one. But when it comes to urban, even though it only takes care of safety and protect, they don't bother. It should be aesthetically good, serviceability, many things it should take care. So how to bring this thing into IIP so that rural, where the product goes to rural, what kind of packaging for the farmers and people, those who are working at grassroots level, and for the urban and international product, whether we can make a differentiation or same thing will do, I would like to listen from you.
Thank you. It is really good question and thought process question. We can say, like, when we talk about the design, now we have modified our course curriculum of PG diploma, and Director IP has taken a lead, and now thoroughly we have enriched, modify, improvised the course curriculum, keeping in mind of all important aspects of requirement, both modern as well as traditional. So now one part is important. For example, of packaging design is important when we have to design any packaging or packages for any commodity. So thought process starts from what the product it is, what is the requirement of the product, and third important aspect, you have asked me the target group, whom you are going to have a package designing your product. So keeping in mind, first we have to think about that, whether it is a product for the low cost effective packaging. So especially you are talking about the cost effective packaging for rural people. And if the product is for food, again we have to classify the food in two parts. One is perishable fresh food products, its packaging is completely different. When we talk about the processed food, where we required longer shelf life, longevity, where the packaging material design and specification has a different thought process. And then third, you are talking about okay, premium products, and you are talking about the more ultra urban requirement of the packaging, where we have give a thought process of design consideration on the premium look, aesthetic look, more important becomes than the functional aspect of the packaging. So that course curriculum we have incorporated in that way. And third important, he mentioned about that future. Today we have a different requirement of the packaging. Maybe after 3 years, 4 years, there will be the different. And we have also introduced one subject in final years, final semester, open, less content, emerging packaging technology subject, where there will be the freedom to the concerned faculty member to give a subject, include or teach the subject which has a more relevant at that time. So keeping in mind of the future also, we have designed a course curriculum in that way.
Yeah.
So now improvise that way.
Great.
So it will feel, and again, director has given special emphasis, make a syllabus more practical. So far we have designed a syllabus 50% theory and 50% practical aspect. Maybe in future we have a more 60% practical aspect, hand-holding content, than the less will be the theoretical part.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Great, Dr. Alam. I think one thing is extremely important here. Lifestyle plays an important role. Packaging and lifestyle, urban lifestyle demands. For example, I'm coming from a small village, son of farmer. When I go to my village, it is less than 2,000 population. I drink a water available in well. But when I go with my drivers, they are from Nagpur. So for them, they need a Bisleri water. They can't drink that water. They say, tabiyat kharab ho jayega. So it all about, many times, it is a lifestyle, and if you keep on accustomed to that kind of water, your health will also get deteriorated. So it is all about the context specific. Context is a king today. So keeping context in mind, how to, even if you go to the supermarket, the food grains are available open in drums, and some of them are packaged. Probably if you see people from grassroots or low income group, they go for open because price is less in kgs and all they take. But others, they buy from the package because they think it is more safe and all that, whatever or psychologically it is for the poor people, it is for people like us. Those kind of lifestyle also plays an important role, while packaging, I think we should need to look into that, and that is a very important aspect. I think Dr. Tanvir ji has brought it. Now, Venkat Sridhar ji, I think now you have listened all the three distinguished panelists talked about. Now the important question comes, what key steps India should take today to build skilled innovation-based packaging ecosystem in the country? Skill innovation-based packaging ecosystem in the country, because we see many times skill, innovation and ecosystem, all three in isolation. If you bring all together, what kind of scenario will emerge and how India can position itself as a, I think Mohit ji was talking about Vishwaguru. I think how IIPM can be a leader or role model. So that point of view, what kind of things we have to bring together, we have to package such a way that all three can be in one basket?
I think one is the knowledge sharing platform. There should be a common platform where the knowledge would be made available for people to explore. Most of the time the businesses suffer, but they can't know exactly where to tap into, get their problem solved. So that is where one knowledge sharing platforms, which, the smart, the smart digital tools that are available, how can we deploy those smart tools to, get that solutions done? And the second is, talking about, how the customizations which would address a lot of customizations would address a uh, lot of areas where the solution can be deployable not only to one, but it can be deployable to across the ecosphere in terms of whether it is a urban consumer or a literal consumer. For that reason, the knowledge sharing will be one avenue where the knowledge sharing can happen. And to create that knowledge sharing to come alive, it should be a kind of a hub. Certain forums, certain digital tools can help to bring all of them into a common platform. Like suppose if you're talking about today, the knowledge sharing is happening more in terms of the social media platforms, but the social media platforms is now more tuned towards the entertainment based rather than a skill based or a targeting about a skill or this thing about more about entertainment. But can we be creative in terms of how a social media can become a anchor thread in terms of bringing the academia, the businesses, the consumers into a common platform and then can talk about very freely. I think that is where the things can happen is my view.
Correct, correct. Great. I think the important takeaway lesson from what Venkatji told about is customization. You see, today mass customization, each and every one, everybody, for example, if I get a computer from Dell, if it doesn't work for me, Dell is a bad company, even though it may be having biggest market in the world and biggest company, for me it is not bad. So people don't go by averages, what kind of product I'll get through this package. So people look at what I get. So that point of view, mass customization is extremely important. When you go for customization, I think it is important to look at the segment, whether it is agriculture, whether it is a different areas, or even beauty parlor, agriculture, pharma. You take any kind of food processing, what kind of customization and bringing the stakeholder together. Probably multi-minds are better than any one of us. That packaging may be a better and more innovative for that particular sector. I think that brings the very, very important aspect. Sitting in our IIP, if I design the curriculum, industry wants, and there is a gap, what we equip as an institution, what industry wants, that sector wants, there is a gap. And another important aspect, what I think is, new to the world and new to the market. Innovation is all about new to the world, first of its kind. That is new to the world. New to the market means it is exist in some pharma sector, but it is not there in agriculture sector. So that is new to the market. In agriculture market, it is new. In electronics market, it may be old, but in manufacturing, it may be new. So I think new to the world and new to the market also, we should look into that when we go for the packaging, so that one is a customization and with reference to sector. Second one, what is innovativeness, what level it is at the sector level, global level, or entire world, it is a new to the market. So that using full use of technology, how to remain relevant and a leader in the packaging industry is extremely important. That is an important point I think Sridharji has brought. Now my question goes to a very beautiful presentation made by lead speaker Ramnik, and now you also presented very smart packages, not only the tradition, but you should also use the technology, barcode and all, It is not only a protection, it is not only beautiful, but it also provides the information. And that is what you have presented. Now, keeping that in mind, the question comes to you is, how can collaboration between academia, research institution, and industry foster innovation-led skill development?
Thank you so much for that. I think when we talk about any education institute, it's not just about what's being taught in the class. It's also about the research, and it's also about the extension. That means what's here in the class is connected to the research that's going on, the new knowledge that is created, how do we take that to the market, and how do we bring in whatever is required in the market back into the classroom so that it becomes like a complete circle. For that, it's really, really important to bring all these three aspects together. Innovation, like I said, it's about stretching stretching your imagination, stretching your connections. In today's world, when we sit here, education is not just about the traditional form it is seen in. In the world today, there are schools with no teachers. There are schools with no teachers, I mean, internationally, there are schools now prevalent where you don't need to have a teacher in place to teach, but it's happening in a new system. There are also institutes which are without degrees because it's really about micro credentials right now. And it's also looking at education in a completely different format. So when we are talking about that, in future, if you see, many of the education institutes may have their grounding in the industry only. So instead of students coming to the classroom would be in the industry. So if we are looking at that future, it's very, very important to bring all of these together. This also brings me to another point. We at NID Haryana have been working on two projects. One was looking at problem of water hyacinth in ponds in Haryana. And we thought what could be done with that, because cleaning the pond is important, but what do you do with the water hyacinth? So the faculty and the students had been working on creating fibers out of it, through which they're weaving cloth. They're looking at creating paper. We're also working with parali because the husk, that is there, the length is there, you can weave baskets out of it, but parali is really small in size. And it's a hard form underneath, so it doesn't really last, it breaks. So how do you use that? We're looking at creating again paper out of it. We're looking at creating innovative products out of it. So I think when that kind of initiative that's happening within an institute is also supported by the industry, and far greater when we look at being supported by our nation and the world, then all these problems that we face today about climate, about our environment, will get reduced very quickly. So I think that is something that we need to really look at.
Thank you.
So it's really about shifting our mindset from being makers to being change makers.
Thank you. Great, Ramnik. I think she has brought out 2-3 important points, academia, industry, and research. If you bring together, definitely innovation is all about faster, cheaper, better. Innovation is all about faster, cheaper, better. And if you bring all the key stakeholders, I think, sending students to industry is one part for live experiential learning or live project. Second one is IIP is coming out with a world-class laboratory. It is a world-class laboratory, first of its kind. It is coming, and it's very one of the, huge investment is being done. So their academia, anyway, professors, as well as the industry leaders, all packaging industry leaders are here, plus our students, all the three important stakeholders and some of the segments like farmers, agriculture, or auto, or whatever the packaging industry, those who are basically needs the packaging. 4 stakeholders come together in such lab, and I'm sure lot of faster, cheaper, better, innovation-led packaging will come into picture. I think that is a need of an hour. I think to do that, the best example, it is not in packaging industry, but when then Prime Minister 1998, Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, he brought the rural roads along with the quadrangle. At that time, in smallest of small villages to be connected to bigger village based on 3 criteria: school for children, hospital for women and children, agriculture market for farmers. That small village panchayat will decide the small village is to connect it to which bigger village. Decision is done by the panchayat. Then DPR is prepared, Tahsil level, Tahsildar and MLA, district level, collector and MP, state level, state project implementation unit, and national level, National Rural Road Development Agency. So every level, every stakeholder is involved irrespective of which political party is there in the state, And I was lucky working in BITS Pilani, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, I was in charge. That is the most successful project involving all the stakeholders. Everybody used to say it is my PMGSY, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. I think that kind of bringing the stakeholder in one basket, that faster, cheaper, better and innovation and curriculum keep on changing year after year. And also the industry leaders are anyway, Sunil ji is there, all the veteran people are there. I think this kind of input comes, what we need and what academia provides, I think definitely we can bring the change and we can create our students as the change masters to lead the unknown packaging in unknown companies. Yet to born, you are ready for the packaging. For example, the Gauranga Das Prabhu in Govardhan village in Adivasi area, Palghar, he skilling the students for EV vehicle repairing. EV vehicle yet to come in India, he is futuristically preparing the students for skilling in the area of EV vehicle. I think this is how we should be 1 step, 10 step ahead of others, so that we can be the leaders, others can follow it. So with this, I'll stop here, 1 or 2 questions from the audience, and then we'll close it. Yeah. You also point out the question whom you want to ask, any one of the distinguished speaker, and you have to crisp 30 seconds, your question should be there. Straightway you have to point out the question.
Yes. Thank you, esteemed panelists. I'm Dr. Shalin Dubey. Sir, all of you rightly said that innovation is a must. You just talked about the innovation. Today, industry faces the basic 3 constraints: low cost, high quality, timely delivery. Product and packaging goes hand in hand. But the fact is that we are facing the disruptive innovations in the industry, sir. So now, how to look for the new innovations, because this is the biggest challenge, and how to cope up with the changing time that is called packaging with the new products coming up. That's the thing. Thank you, sir.
Anyone wants to answer?
Okay. I'll just take that question. Thank you so much for it. When we look at innovation and when we're looking at the current state in the market and the constraints that we have, that's where I feel design thinking comes into play, where you start working with constraints, because innovation happens when you work with constraints. When you're looking at finding solutions, it's important to tap back into your intuitive process and what are the basics that we've forgotten in our way of creating complicated solutions. So it's really about going back to your ground level, to your drawing board, and coming back with your basics and seeing how that can be solved within those constraints. So that's how I see it.
So, sir, one line: crises are best friends of innovation. Life is full of challenges, otherwise we never get into innovation. Every challenge helps us to move to the next level. And discomforts are the only area where we can get the best result. We have to consider discomfort as a comfort, so that we always into innovation and our product will be always the best product. Any next question? Any other question? Anybody? Okay, so thank you very much, organizer. Now, please take over.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our distinguished panelists. I now request session chairperson to kindly present mementos. Sir, to please step forward, and we'll begin with Ms. Ramneek Kaur, Director, NIIT Kurukshetra, to please take the center stage. Kindly keep the applause going as we present token of appreciations. Thank you very much, ma'am. Mr. Venkata Sridhar Golapudi to please step forward, Director, Integrated Supply Chain and Operations, Bisleri International Private Limited, Mumbai. A round of applause for Mr. Venkata. Mr. Kaushik Nag, CEO Flexible and CPP Jupiter Laminators. Professor Dr. Tanveer Alam, Additional Director in ROIIP Delhi. Mr. Mohit Kumar, MD EcoShore Plump Molding. And I now request Director Sir to please join us on stage. Mr. R.K. Mishra to please join us on stage and present our mentor to session chairperson, Professor Bhim Arya Maitri, Director IIM Nagpur. Please put your hands together for session chair. And I now request our panelists to please step forward for a group photograph, to kindly come together for a group photograph. Thank you all, and I request Mr. Mishra to stay back for the closing remarks. I request Mr. Mishra to please stay back for the closing remarks. We once again thank our panelists for joining us. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a day of deliberations on this occasion of Foundation Day, 59th. And as we enter our Diamond Jubilee year, the difficult task of summarizing it in front of very, very tired faces. I'll request people to settle down. Yeah, now we have settled down. Professor Ghosh, you have asked me to summarize everything, but the issue is, let me go session-wise. The first session was Mr. Sunil Jain was the lead speaker. Lead speaker was Mr. Pillai Jiviraj from the Flex. Recycling, he talked about plastics as he's an expert on plastics, associated for more than 3 decades with plastics. So sustainability was a key theme in his speech, and he talked about how across the countries this theme is working on, and the need to align the FSSAI and BIS for proper guidelines and standards. Moving forward, the material challenges and the requirement of feedstock and supply chain management. Professor Katiyar talked about the role of academics, gap in the R&D despite the human resource capacity. Urged academics to lead innovation in collaboration with industry. Going forward, Mr. Bhatia Sanjay from IIP fraternity itself talked about for the MSME support, the importance of supporting MSME in transitioning to sustainable practices, and promote the reuse of metals, as metals have the natural capacity to be recycled. Mr. Sundaram of Regional Chairman IIP Delhi emphasized the need of consumer awareness, and Mr. Banerjee Barun talked about the innovation drivers. Noted brands now prioritize recycled content and sustainability in packaging, mentioned ongoing discussion around mono-material, emphasize the need for accelerating innovation, upskilling, and improved. So you will see that this theme of skill development comes again and again to the fore, and rightly so, looking at the large unemployed sector that our students are facing right now. So as I come to the conclusion, there is a clear need for collaboration, and that is visible between academia, industry, and regulatory bodies. And the standardization bodies like BIS, FSSAI, and Infrastructure for Segregation Recycling. This recycling, although the veracity and the control thereof is questioned, but that is the policy of the government, and going forward we'll have to include that in our daily lives as consumer and as industry. The idea that we should invest as industry more in R&D and scale up enzyme-based and mechanical recycling technologies was highlighted, and the molding consumer behavior by way of policy. What is this noise? Isko jara bolenge, please. Thank you. Now we come to session 2, where we talked about global standards and export packaging opportunities for MSME. Dr. Dwivedi was the lead speaker, and I happened to meet him in BIS office in Mumbai as director and IIP and additional DGFT during one of the visits. He gave the overview of BIS functioning and spoke about the BIS standards for wooden pallets, highlighted the BIS training for MSME, and the point that MSMEs need not have a laboratory in each case, and the liberalized policy of BIS for allowing standards to be used. Then Mr. Bantwal, our Vice Chairman, emphasized about the major hurdles faced by MSMEs and pointed out lack of awareness, outdated technologies, and limited capital, certification costs being very high, and manpower migration to larger companies. A problem indeed, because they get trained and they move on to a bigger company for bigger remuneration. Called for simplified compliance framework. Mr. Sanjay Yadav focused on papers-based packaging as he came from that area of expertise. He cited paper as eco-friendly because it can be recycled, I believe, compostable and renewable. Discussed the barrier development using bioplastics for food-grade applications, and acknowledged the cost challenge and compared paper and plastics. You would see that everybody who comes from whatever industry tries to highlight the benefits of that. That is how the cookie crumbles. But we have to take a holistic view so that the national priorities are clearly in the national interest. Ms. Anantarani shared the NABL actions for support of MSMEs, and NABL provides third-party assessments for FSSAI, BIS, UN legal metrology and other regulatory needs, and helps MSMEs meet stringent standards by linking them with certified labs. Mr. Ketan Bhatia mentioned about procurement being a problem. How do the MSMEs select the vendor? Stress the lack of guidance on whom to approach. In that regard, our directory of IIP, which we have launched today, may be guidance to some extent, and I would request industry to give us a feedback on the utility thereof. Ms. Reba Abraham spoke about packaging challenges in horticulture and processed food exports. Countries have strict contamination limits. That is a problem we have to live with. In US and EU, there are very strict guidelines for the pesticides residue inside the consignment. APEDA helps exporters comply with standards and logistics protocols for distant shipping, such as for grapes, bananas, and pomegranates. And she highlighted the APEDA support to lab recognition, subsidies for certifications, encouraging exporters to innovate. Ms. Anita talked about critical gaps in the Indian packaging industry and the need for regulatory monitoring, broader market access, enhanced trade facilitation. Stressed on the operational efficiency, updating standards and capacity building. 3-4 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Conclusion, standard simplification and single window compliance support. There is an urgent need for technological upgradation, for which again industry and academia and institute collaboration will be the way forward. Sustainable packaging innovations, export facilitation through bodies like APEDA, and cooperation between regulatory bodies and industry stakeholders. MSMEs being focused, lot of action for supporting MSMEs you would have already deciphered from the deliberations. The last panel, I was very happy to have witnessed the last panel having evoked such exciting discussion. I was part of it in some measure because there was a governing body meeting scheduled in between, so I had to skip a bit of it. But I assure that I will see the recording and draw my own lessons. Ms. Ramni Kaur, a pass out from NID Ahmedabad and Director NID Kurukshetra presently, was the lead speaker, and she gave a thought-provoking address. That is what I have been advised on sustainable and innovative packaging trends, highlighting the mycelium-based and seaweed-based packaging. So I would definitely have to go back to her on these two topics. The points included importance of storytelling in packaging, using design to humanize the brands and create emotional connections, integration of technology for QR codes, temperature management, etc., use of colorimetry, that's what I mentioned, enhancing user engagement through unboxing experience, inclusivity in design, and AR applications, importance of prototyping, automation, and machinery. Now the other speakers equally proficient, Mr. Venkat Sridhar from Bisleri, right? From Bisleri talked about knowledge sharing platforms and cross-industry collaborations to accelerate innovation, emphasize branding strategies focused on 3 Rs, reduce, reuse, and recycle. There is another R called redesign, which is also relevant for that. And remanufacture, right, that's right. Highlighted the trend for right sizing. If you use less, you will definitely waste less. Customization and bringing multi-minds together in forums like these maybe. Mr. Kaushik talked about adaptability as a critical component in long-term packaging innovation, and collaboration among brand owners, machine manufacturers, and material experts. So machine manufacturers have to become a part of the whole process because machines take a more time for change, incorporating changes and production compared to the normal packages. Skill alignment with technology and ongoing challenge in scaling sustainable packaging solutions. Dr. Alam of IIP Delhi, the man behind organizing this along with Professor Ghosh, spoke about the policy making need that supports innovation and skill development. So the government is aware of the requirements of skill getting the focus of education because unskilled youth is not employable. This is what the policy of the government indicates. So skilling can be at your own level by learning from online courses or from going to institutes like IIP or others, taking the learnings all across the sectors into one forum. And this he highlighted about the BSMS program. We are going towards an integrated BSMS program. Again, another step in the right direction because the NEP talks about it. And as I mentioned, we have to train 35,000 packaging professionals to meet the growing needs of the industry. And we are revising the PGDP syllabus this year going forward so that we are up to date for the industrial needs. Mr. Kumar talked about new packaging materials like mushroom-based and compostable solutions, address barriers such as high global certification costs, and advocated for establishment of incubation center to support R&D and startups. We have taken a small step in IIP Delhi for a startup ecosystem, which will get a fillip with our collaboration for that technology park on packaging that we are going to be part of, for which an sort of declaration of intent was done today. Conclusion being, the panel echoed a shared vision for the future of packaging in India that is sustainable, smart, skill-driven. With the IIP playing a pivotal role, the focus is on building ecosystems that connect innovation with education. Nice line. Policy with practice and design with technology. This event served as a catalyst for collaboration. We have forged some new relationships today and trying to embark on a new path of growth of packaging industry. All of you are strong stakeholders and one cannot live without the other. We are like a family. With that sense, I have a strong sense of achievement of having organized a function well. And at a very short notice, less than 3 weeks, we could pull it off, for which all of you deserve a round of applause. Thank you very much. So this was my task of summarizing a day of deliberations. This is partly reflective of what you have spoken about. I may have missed some points, but I go back to Mumbai with a belief that we have struck some new friendships. And I will be amiss if I don't speak about Professor Metri discharging his duty as a panel expert, panel head with aplomb. I really heard you and you did very well, sir. So you cannot take a professor out of a lead speaker or a panel moderator, whatever it is. This is what I understood. So Jain साहब हम लोग को बहुत सीखना पड़ेगा ऐसे कामों के लिए, ठीक है? So on this light-hearted note, I bid adieu to you. Wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your admirable summarization. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we conclude the 59th Foundation Day. Thank you very much for your participation and support. And we look forward to see you in our future events. Thank you. We wish you a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Hello. नहीं चल रहा. रहने दीजिए.